morning and welcome to another live episode of Wealth Building Wednesday WBW. Wealth Building Wednesday is brought to you every single Wednesday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, live on Facebook and YouTube. And we also rebroadcast the audio of every single episode via our media partner, WBFZ Z105.3 FM. Broadcasting all across West Central Alabama. Super excited about today's show. We have a first-time guest, and this will not be her last time. We were having a great conversation prior to going live, and now we're going to converse with you. Today, Wealth Building Wednesday is proud to have Dr. JeFreda Brown as our guest. Yes. She is a financial services expert. As you can see, her company is called Xaris Financial Enterprises. We're excited to have you here, helping us to share valuable tools and information, having critical conversations when it comes to finances, y'all. Wealth means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but we want to, put this information down where they say where the goats can get it, right? We're not going to have an analytical conversation or a conversation that folks can't just truly understand. We are excited to have Dr. Brown with us here today. Welcome to Wealth Building Wednesday.
Oh, thank you so much, Lydia. I'm so glad and happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes. I was telling Dr. Brown prior to going live, how I discovered her services, and that literally is because of social media. So for small business owners, if you have not secured your brand and you are not representing yourself on social media, you are missing out on a whole population of people who want to know about you and what you do. Yeah. So Dr. Brown is efficient at what she does, and she has a level of expertise, y'all. I'm excited to learn from her today. Okay. So I want to, first of all, give you an opportunity to share with those who are watching or listening who you are. Who is Dr. JeFreda Brown?
Well, thank you so much. I am what some of my clients have told me that I'm very rare, because to me, when I work with somebody, they become family to me. I care about my clients. I want to see everybody do well. And that's just been something I've desired since I was like 7 years old. Yeah. Originally from Vicksburg, Mississippi. I relocated to Birmingham at the end of 2008. And have been in the financial industry for about 25 years. And I just love it. I love helping people understand finance and helping people, make sure that they get their things in order, and so that they can start experiencing what I love. One of the terms that I love, generational wealth, and making that a common term, especially in minority households, because that's something that's not really taught a lot in minority households. So it's my mission. I'm also a minister, and that's part of my calling as a minister, to help people be delivered from financial bondage, to help educate people about finances. So that's what I do every single day.
I love the term you just used, financial bondage. Because so many times, we look at this word debt, and even in the original prayer, the prayer that we're taught, forgive us our debts, right? As we forgive our debtors, and to think about the bondage that we can place ourselves in when we go out and try to live beyond our means, when we are not thinking about the future. Right. I had a conversation with a small business owner this morning, and I said, we've really got to help folks rethink this thing when it comes to end of life services. Right. Because I remember my grandparents being able to, the insurance man would come by and collect the payment for life insurance.
Wow, yes.
But now, it seems as if, I don't care what happens in the future. I'll just leave that as a debt, a burden, literally.
It is a burden.
On the next generation. So I am super excited to have you here and to talk about generational wealth. And you are absolutely right. We have got to make this term generational wealth something that we find very common in especially Black households. So now,
Yes.
how would you describe Xaris Financial Services and your mission? I know that you talked about your personal mission, but your business's mission is quite dynamic.
Yeah. So the mission for my company is to provide out of the box, unique ways and strategies to help people increase their financial literacy and create generational wealth.
Absolutely. So now financial literacy is super important. A lot of times, especially in Black households, we really don't talk about strategies around how to manage money. We don't really get a grasp of how important credit is.
Mhm.
And when you don't know about credit, that can cause problems in the long run when you're looking to move out of, say, like your home with your parents and you're looking for an apartment. Most folks are going to require a credit check nowadays. There's some jobs that are requiring credit checks. If you want a reasonable car note, right? You don't want to be paying $700 a month for and they're going out of business. So I'll say you go, right? So right. So it's important that financial literacy be a part of the lingo that we use in our households. So now, why did you find the need to start? Because when you initially started out in this sector on your own as a small business, as a business owner, because it may have started out small, but you're destined for great things
Oh,
and
yes.
big things.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
You started out a business called Provision Financial Education.
Yes.
So, why did you find it important to start that business?
So I started working on my doctorate in 2017.
Mhm.
And I started feeling a need to do more to help people as far as financial literacy. And I started also working at the same time, start working on a certification, certified financial education instructor. While I was doing that, I learned all of these alarming stats that just broke my heart. I literally started crying
Mm.
because learning that, like for instance, people in America are having to work past age 70
Mhm.
and can't retire because they have not properly planned, and that people, now this one is the one that really got me, that over 40% of Americans don't have more than $10,000 in net worth.
Mhm.
Net worth, of course, we know is your assets minus your liabilities. So that
Mhm.
means that people don't have assets worth $10,000. And of
Mhm.
course, money is assets, investments, property you own, those types of things are assets. So I started the company because I wanted to help educate people, to help people increase their financial literacy, help them develop those skills and the knowledge that they need to better understand money. And one of the key things about what I do is there's a part of my financial literacy curriculum called financial psychology. That's the first thing, that most important thing, because you have to change your mindset about how you see money before you can start fixing things. If you don't change your
Mhm.
mindset, you're going to continue to repeat the same things over and over.
Mhm.
So that was my reason for starting the company. And initially, it was named Provision Financial Education because that's what I was doing, providing financial education.
Awesome. So now, how and why did you transition from Provision Financial Education to Xaris Financial Enterprises? Like, what's the difference between what you were doing and what all that your company encompasses now?
One word: pandemic.
Wow.
So yeah, and just the pandemic,
Hmm.
the pandemic being a global um, event that happened to everybody, it impacted the global economy.
Hmm.
So that meant that people were scattering. They were like, "Oh my God, I thought I had my finances in order. I thought I had enough saved. I thought I, had a plan in place." And they realized that what they had in place was not going to work, and they really needed to go back to the drawing board. So the demand for financial services
Hmm.
just went like that. even people, like for instance, you have investors who never worked with a professional financial advisor, who were looking for a financial advisor to work with. Because the truth about it is that you have a lot of people who want to manage their own finances, but they're not financial experts. This is what
Right.
we've been educated. We do this every single day. We know all the laws. We know all the requirements and everything. We know the unique strategies to help you minimize your tax liabilities. And we know all these different types of ways to help you. So why wouldn't you try to manage your own finances when you have people who do this for a living? So that's one of the main reasons why I changed the totally pivoted in the types of services, and also had to also change the name of the company to also fall in line with that. So that was it. The pandemic. The
Well,
pandemic.
the pandemic caused a lot of changes for all of us. So while we lost a lot of people, while we many families continue to struggle as a result of the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, there have been some great things to emerge, right? Even if it has been for people to recognize that, wait a minute, I'm not, as financially sound as I thought, or recognizing, what? If I left here tomorrow, my job is going to put my position in the newspaper or on Indeed, right? And be looking for somebody else. Let me start to develop something for myself so
Yes.
that I'm not totally dependent on this 9 to 5. So another great thing though that came out of the pandemic was Xaris Financial Enterprises. So
Yes.
now folks can not just learn about how to manage our money, but also rely on an expert like yourself to help guide us through how to become wealthy, financially wealthy, and mentally wealthy. One of the things that you just talked about was changing your mindset. That's a critical aspect of us being able to change and increase our finances. So, want to ask you about this term that you use when in your opening statement around generational wealth. How
Yes.
do you define generational wealth?
Generational wealth is it's financial freedom. It's creating a financial legacy for your future generations, so they don't have to struggle. They don't have to start from scratch, and also helping people understand the term wealth. Being wealthy doesn't mean you have $1 million in the bank. That's
Mm,
not what wealthy means. And so I think that scares people. Having wealth means what you need in your specific situation, that helps you have financial freedom. Like for instance, you could have a person who grew up poor, and they grew up maybe in a project in the projects, but they have grown up. They went to college. They got a good paying job where they may be making $100,000 a year. So to the people that they knew growing up, to them, they're wealthy.
mhm.
So it's your perception. It's not based on an certain amount of money. It's based on your perception of you being in a place where you are totally experiencing financial freedom. That's what true wealth is.
I am so glad you said that because it really makes me think about the impact that social media has had on us as individuals. While social media can be used for positive things, including broadcasting Wealth Building Wednesday and the outreach that you do on social media, there's so many of us that have started this or even found comfort in comparing ourselves to
Right.
what we think other people have in their lives and start to compete with the Joneses, if you will. Like there's always been this thing about keeping up with the Joneses, and it's like on social media the Joneses don't even know you anymore. The
Right.
Joneses aren't even next door, they're across the country, they don't even know. They
Right.
don't even know you, but but we want to keep up with the images that we see, and therefore we have this development of a whole new career, with people being influencers,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like who knew 5 years ago that there was such thing as that a social media influencer would actually be a career? but it actually is something that people get paid very well to do because the impact that social media has. And so when you think about generational wealth, right, when you think about just what you said, that financial freedom looks different for everybody.
It does.
Right. That is so important for us to recognize. So now, based on your experience, what are some of the most significant challenges that you've seen small business owners, and especially I want to say for like Black women, women of color, related to planning for the future? Because generational wealth is about planning for the future. You said it's the legacy that we want to leave. So, based on your experience, what are some of the most significant challenges you've seen small business owners and especially women of color have when it comes to that planning for the future?
Well, the very first thing that comes to me is that a lot of, and this was surprising to me. Well, not really surprising, but a lot of people don't even understand that accounting and finance are not the same thing. They're
Mm.
totally different disciplines that are
Hmm.
part of the financial industry. So accountants do one thing, finance experts do something totally different. That's one of the challenges. As far as minority women, um, especially when I'm thinking about minority women who are doing really well in their careers or business owners, they're making really good money.
Hmm.
Um, there's a kind of like a, if you think about it, they're underserved in the financial industry because of the fact that when it comes to the finance side of things, they're kind of ignored by the larger financial firms.
Hmm.
They don't really cater to them as far as their marketing, and so a lot of these women, they don't really have like the wealth management tools and resources. They don't really know about what's available to them, all the different types of financial services that are available to them. And then another thing related to that is that, as women, we're emotional. So we need to work with somebody that we trust, who we can relate to, like you get it, like you understand,
Hmm.
someone who understands their life experiences and their life events and can help tailor their financial goals around those things. So those are some of the challenges that I've seen in being a researcher as well. I research a lot. I'm a nerd, and making sure I'm always staying on top of things, and so that I can be able to provide a niche service to those people, the small business owners, the women who are out there doing well, and they're looking for somebody to help them get these things in place and in order.
So you are absolutely right. And which when I went to your website, I was just like, oh my goodness, she's like this gem that so many people need to have access to, because when you think about the impact that not knowing can have on your life,
Mhm.
right? Tyler Perry, one of the most famous people that we have in Hollywood, I saw an interview that he did a while back, and he talked about what he didn't know and what his accountant actually didn't know that had cost him millions, and that the IRS, had to cut him a check because he had been overpaying for years.
Yeah.
So it's important that we have access to experts like you. And I wanted to ask you, because included as a part of your business model is the attention to the financial needs of women,
Yeah.
especially high earners. We
Mhm.
see a lot of that among Black women now, that Black women are out earning our male counterparts, well out earning our male counterparts. And so, what are some of the most significant considerations that we need to have when it comes to our financial wellness?
So you talked about it. Like women
Mhm.
are powerful financially because women have strong buying power, strong
Mhm.
earning power in the economy. And
Mhm.
so, when you think about it, most times, if it's other than single women, women who have families, they're the ones who purchase everything for their households. So they make the buying decisions of what needs to be done. And not only that, but women like me who are not yet married, are purchasing and building homes, starting
Mhm.
in businesses, currently operating businesses, traveling, are executives in their companies, and so much more. So women who are high earners, like I said before, they can't find those financial professionals that they're looking for to help them, who can connect with them, who can relate to what they need. And another very important element is the educational element. They want to be informed and provided with the knowledge that they need. And many women prefer to be kind of hands off when it comes to their
Mhm.
finances, because they don't want to make mistakes, and they want to spend their time on other things like going shopping and traveling and things like that. So they want to work with somebody that they can trust, who
Right.
they know, I can put my finances in your hands, and you're going to make sure you keep me informed about everything, and making sure that they are aware of different things, stay on top of things, making adjustments as needed, and not just blindly leaving something in somebody's hands, but they're working with somebody who's keeping them informed about every single thing. So yeah, those I think those things are very important.
So now, if you could change, and I'm going to say just one thing because I know there might be many things. If you could change just one thing about the relationship between marginalized communities, and when I say marginalized communities, y'all, we talking about Black people, right? Like it is really, really important that we begin to hear terms, right? Not that we're trying to make any of this information unattainable, but I want to help personally. I want to help you know that when you in a room and you hear marginalized communities, who people are talking to and about, right? When you hear people of color, typically folks are going to be talking about Black and brown people. So Black folks, folks with Hispanic, who are Hispanic ethnically. So want to ask you if you could change one thing about the relationship between marginalized communities and our finances. What would that one thing be?
Access,
Okay.
and just to expound,
Hmm.
having equal access to the
Mm,
financial resources and tools that they need. And this includes things like financial education, capital, financial professionals, and more. Um, but however, you also got to look at the other side of that, because you have people who do have access to these things, but that poverty mindset.
mm,
And when I talk about a poverty mindset, I don't mean somebody who's living in poverty, because you can have
right.
someone who's doing well financially, but they still have a poverty mindset. So it basically means that they have a negative or incorrect perception about finance and money. And it means that they think having negative financial behavior is normal.
Hmm.
So that's what I would say would be the one thing to help change that relationship: having equal access, and of course the other side of that, helping people change their mindset about how they perceive money.
So let's talk about that for just a second with mindset. Like what is has been one of the most critical tools or important tools that you've been able to use to help people actually make that shift, like to actually see that wait a minute, the investments that you're making tend to be more on clothes and food as opposed to real estate, let's just say something like that. Like how do you actually help your clients see where the changes need to be made?
Well, first of all, helping them to understand the types of things that affect their financial behavior. So
Okay.
it's different things, and it's not always so black and white. So think, like for instance, your emotions
Hmm.
affect how your financial behavior, which also affects how you make financial decisions. When and just leaning in on the emotions part, people who, as humans, we're naturally conditioned to avoid things that bring us pain, and go towards things that bring us pleasure.
Yes.
So think about how someone who the every day they're like, I gotta go by Starbucks and get my coffee. I cannot
Mhm.
function. They actually say I cannot function without my coffee. And so that's an emotional thing. So they're going and spending $8-10 a day on coffee, and that adds up.
Mhm.
So I help people understand how like their emotions, their motivations, their dreams are impacting their behavior. And then whatever's impacting their behavior impacts what types of financial decisions they make. So there's different ways that I help them to see that. And once people start understanding that and the wheels start turning and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that, every time I'm stressed out and I go and buy a pair of shoes. you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's been really a blessing for me to be able to see people really get that and start making changes.
So now, what are the services that you offer? And I want to do this specifically. I'm asking you this specifically for people who are thinking to themselves, you know what? I hear Dr. Brown. I am really going to commit because see, it's almost the end of 2022. Right. So as we prepare, most folks make these New Year's resolutions, right? So
Right.
as for those who may be listening or watching and considering, I hear Dr. Brown, all of the great things that she's saying, and I need to commit to doing something different.
Mhm.
Is there a way to contact you, or what is the best way for us to reach out to you to explore our options as far as becoming a client?
Yes. Well, first of all, anybody can go to my company's website to see the different services in detail of what's provided. One part of what I do is the finance side, the wealth management side, and then of course the educational piece, where I develop courses and curriculum. I research and writing, and also instructors as well, teaching different courses as well. So they can go to the website, which is www.xarisfinance.com. That's XARIS finance.com. And there's a way, the information to how to contact the company is on the website. Our website email address, I'm sorry, is contact us at xarisfinance.com. And I do offer a free initial consultation for people because I like to talk to people up front to get an idea of what their needs are. And sometimes people really don't know everything that's available to them. So being able to hear what it is that they are desiring to do, that gives me a better idea of, what type of path to take with them. And helping them as far as once somebody decides they want to become a client, we have an onboarding process. So helping us to understand what their goals are, their financial goals are, short term and long term, and then there's a specific process that we go through. And I have a framework in the company. We have a framework which is protect, manage, grow, and transfer. So
Okay.
we help people do those things with their finances. And I have a special um, process that I have. It's called Simplify, which takes people through different steps to help them. Because, and it's so funny how that came about because um, a while back I was praying about it and God said, He said, what is it that most of your clients always tell you that you help them to do? And I was like,
Mm.
help them simplify their lives.
Mm.
Wow. So yeah, and that that's something that's been very helpful as well. And like you mentioned earlier, and I was thinking about also Romans 13:8, where it says, "Let no debts remain outstanding."
Yes.
Having true financial freedom when you don't have any debt hanging over your head. And there's in one of the benefits I can say of working with me is that I'm not going to tell people put all your money into a 401k or an IRA. I know about a bunch of different other ways that you can invest your money that's not tied to the market. That will help you to sleep better at night, because we know the market does this.
Yes.
Of course, that's going to be part of your portfolio, but there's so many other ways that you can invest to help build that portfolio and build generational wealth.
Well, I am so excited. I am just truly. I feel like you are truly blessing the community, that you're blessing your clients, and in this moment that we have been able to share the space in a way to help folks understand that it doesn't have to be hard or complicated to get your finances in order. This song "Get Your House in Order" has just really been ringing to me today. Literally, I just keep hearing it in my head. So to have this conversation just lets me know that this is nothing more than confirmation that we really have to step out and be willing to do the work, right? But it's not hard work, because
No.
with the help of folks like you, who have an expertise in financial services to help us know, right, that you don't have to depend on a 401k, that you can diversify your portfolio. If you are going to invest in the stock market, just set it and forget it, right? Don't look.
Right.
That used to be an old commercial. Set it and forget it. Well,
Yeah.
just put the money over there and try not to check the rates. I know with cryptocurrency, when it was initially a part of everybody's vernacular, that folks were like, oh my goodness, I gotta check my numbers, crypto. Like people were losing sleep. But if you're that person who has to monitor things like that, then yeah, that's the stock market is not going to be for you. You'll lose sleep. But to know that people like you are on our side, that we can
Right.
simply pick up the phone, and call you to say, hey, I really want to take advantage of the services that you offer, is super important. So I do just want to reiterate for folks that, if just in case you're driving and then you're not watching, or if you are tuned in and listening to our broadcast on WBFZ 105.3, I do want to share that Dr. JeFreda Brown and Xaris Financial Enterprises can be accessed. She is on LinkedIn, and you're going to go on linkedin.com/JeFreda Brown, and her name is JeFreda Brown, like the color. Okay. And on Facebook, she can be found at Dr. JeFreda Brown. On Instagram, at, guess what, Dr. JeFreda Brown. Tell me her branding doesn't match, because it doesn't.
I have a great publicist.
Yes, yes, you really, really do. On Twitter, she is at Xaris Financial, okay? And then on YouTube, at Dr. JeFreda. So on YouTube, that means that she has videos, y'all. So just like the videos that you have seen, that you're seeing here, if you have tapped in to Wealth Building Wednesday on YouTube, then that means you can type up in that search bar to say Dr. JeFreda, and you will find her videos as well. Y'all, I want you to email her. If you email, her email address is contact us at xarisfinance.com, and that is contact CONTACT us, us. You can look yes. The at sign, and that Xaris is XARIS finance.com, and her website is xarisfinance.com, and a telephone number, area code 205-957-7960. It's important that you have this information at your fingertips, because now is the time to get ready, y'all. We got to get our houses in order, and Dr. JeFreda Brown can certainly help us do that. You have such a wealth of information. I'm just super excited that you were willing to take the time out this morning to be with us. And I definitely want to invite you back to be with us again. I did share with you prior to coming online live that we will have some in-person. We've been doing in-person financial wellness workshops. So we definitely want to welcome you to the historic city of Selma.
Yeah.
And invite all of you who have been tuned in and listening or watching us on Wealth Building Wednesday. Wealth Building Wednesday is a broadcast that comes to you live every single Wednesday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can tune in and watch all of our videos from the past on Facebook and on YouTube. TRHT Selma brings you this live broadcast as well as the audio. TRHT stands for Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation. We are a project of the WK Kellogg Foundation. We are super excited to have had the support of the Kellogg Foundation, the continued support of the Kellogg Foundation, and we are looking to have your support as well. So if you're interested in investing in TRHT Selma and all of the things we do, not just online, but in-person events, y'all, we're working on an innovation center downtown. So lots of things happening in Selma, and TRHT Selma is excited to be a part of that. So thank you, Dr. Brown.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you all for tuning in to another live edition of Wealth Building Wednesday. Until next Wednesday, I want to encourage each and every one of you to get out there and start building your wealth. See you next Wednesday.